Hello, hello. Welcome into the video or welcome back. Welcome back to the video or welcome in if you are new. I don't know why sometimes that plays in my mind there. But hello, how are you doing? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about everything to do with the TikTok ban. Everything as we know it. Today is the 23rd of December when I'm filming this, and so we're going to be talking about everything that we currently know about the TikTok ban, because if you are a marketer, if you're a content creator, an influencer, utilizing the social media space to any degree, you are probably utilizing TikTok, and you are probably on the edge of your seat of whether TikTok is still going to be here. If it's not, oh, also, is my light on? Let me make sure it is. My light was not on. I'm glad that I caught that. Okay. But yes, so we're going to be talking about all those things. Even if you're a consumer of TikTok, like just a doom scroller, or you're just love the platform itself, here's what we know now. And also I want to get into some reactions from people in the audience on TikTok, creators on TikTok, and just people's opinion about this ban, because I'm loving to see people's opinions on how they feel about this, how it's going to affect them, affect the economy. So let's talk about it and get right into it. So first, I really want to get into debunking a few myths with the ban and things that were just kind of going around that were misinformation about the TikTok ban itself broadly. And there's a great creator on TikTok. And again, I will have all the creators that I mentioned in this video linked in the description below with the exact video, so you can go watch it and support their content. But I love this video kind of just breaking down this.
Maybe we're spooked, but we need to address a lot of it. Number one, I'm seeing a lot of people claiming that using a VPN to access TikTok after it is potentially banned will get you fined $1 million or you go to jail. I think a lot of people don't know that this language is from the Restrict Act, which never passed. When people are talking about the TikTok ban, they should be referring to the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversaries Controlled Applications Act, which was conveniently wedged into the 21st Century Peace Through Strength Act, which passed. Number two, a lot of people just think that Disney bought TikTok, meaning we're saved. A lot of people aren't asking themselves, what's the source of this news, but also, is it true? If you zoom in, you can see it's from Mousetrap News. On their About page, they say Mousetrap News is the world's best satire and parody site. They write fake news. It's right there. I know a lot of you are still concerned, like, if we do manage to access TikTok with a VPN, are we going to get in trouble? Well, after reading the entire section from the Peace Through Strength Act, it doesn't look like the onus or like the consequences placed on the end user. In fact, penalties actually start at the corporate or distribution level, which would mean it might be impossible to use TikTok even with a VPN for a lot of people. Speaking about VPNs, I'm seeing a lot of people hawking VPNs, especially NordVPN right now, trying to scare you into signing up. If you want to download your data, go to your settings. I'll throw some pictures up here if you want to know where to go. But just for now, don't panic. You have plenty of time to download all of your data from TikTok. And in the meantime, if you're a content creator, I highly recommend migrating and branching out your content, looking at some of your highest performing content from this year, and just reposting it to other platforms, maybe re-editing it. A lot of you have already thrown in the towel and you're abandoning ship, and a lot of you aren't ready to embrace the prospect of just branching out and maintaining a platform until it's no longer of use to you. Take some time, make sure to follow. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below.
Amazing advice. Absolutely amazing advice. Incredible. At the end there, because I will always advocate for, if you are a content creator or an influencer and you make content on social media, you need to be saving that into a hard drive of some kind. Like, go get you a hard drive, get you some backup of some kind of a physical thing that you have access to, number one. And number two, you need to always be repurposing and creating for multiple platforms. That's what makes content creation so difficult, honestly. And that's why a lot of people end up outsourcing it down the line and hiring a team, because you really do kind of need to be everywhere for emergencies like this, when a platform could literally go down in a fortnight, you know? And so that's why I love at the end that he's talking about downloading your data, and as well to, you know, repurposing some of that content. I even say, even if it's a low performing post, as many posts as you can at least collect from your TikTok and make sure you have saved somewhere is going to be necessary. So definitely make sure that you're doing that. Okay, let's move into the next video. And I want to, again, kind of give the background or just kind of an update of where we're at. And let me see, because I think actually one video here is the background.
Let's finish reading TikTok's 50-page emergency application for injunction pending Supreme Court review so you don't have to. Let's break down some key points, including why the government wants to ban TikTok in the first place, the lies the government has been spewing to manipulate the general public, and what TikTok thinks will inevitably happen. So point number one, politicians want to ban TikTok because they claim it amplifies pro-Palestine content. Take Mitt Romney, for example. He's one of the loudest voices accusing TikTok of amplifying pro-Palestine content. He claimed that TikTok had an unusually high number of posts about Palestine. These are his own words. If you look at the postings on TikTok and the number of mentions of Palestinians relative to other social media sites, it's overwhelmingly so among TikTok broadcasts, end quote. So this isn't about national security then. It's about censoring people who speak out against oppression. Point number two, politicians claim that TikTok is controlled by the Communist Party of China. This is another one of their dirty, gutter snipe lies. TikTok isn't owned by any member of the Chinese Communist Party. TikTok is owned by ByteDance, a Cayman Islands-based company, and it is primarily controlled by institutional investors. TikTok Inc., the company that operates in the United States, is independent. That's right, no one from mainland China owns TikTok. In fact, TikTok isn't even available in mainland China. It's used in over 170 countries worldwide, just not in China. And side note, I honestly wouldn't give a damn if Xi Jinping himself owned 100% of TikTok. Only an idiot.
I thought people knew this. I thought people knew that ByteDance is what owned TikTok. Like, I keep seeing so much misinformation on like the ownership of TikTok, selling TikTok, divestment of TikTok, just so many conversations, which I guess now that we're further down the line, this could occur, but
idiot will let the United States government tell them who their enemies are. But let's continue. Point number 3, TikTok stores user data in China. Surprise, surprise, another lie. TikTok's US recommendation engine is stored entirely on Oracle servers in the United States, with Oracle having full access to the platform's source code. The United States government has even implemented measures to ensure data security, with the NSA overseeing TikTok's source code and monitoring user data. And TikTok has spent over $2 billion on Project Texas, voluntarily securing U.S. data and preventing any so-called foreign interference. If national security was truly the issue, we'd be seeing evidence of this concern, not just baseless accusations, government, okay? Point 4, at least 17% of Americans rely on TikTok to stay updated on what's happening in the world. 17% of Americans get their news from TikTok. For millions, it's not just an app for entertainment. It's a primary source of news and communication. Banning TikTok would silence small businesses, activists, and everyday citizens who have no other platform to express themselves because they're all censored. Point 5.
Exactly. That's why this is so crucial for so many people. That's why, again, I bet people watching this, you're on the edge of your seat trying to see an update or really understand what's going on, because a lot of people began making a livelihood solely from TikTok, like just from TikTok alone. And so if that were to be gone, and basically this is, especially like lately, this notice of the ban coming and then being enacted has happened pretty quickly in a few weeks. And again, even the job market itself, I'm not going to get into that, but it's a nightmare even for people already in the job market or seeking a job. So imagine if all the people that are on TikTok making a full-time income that maybe have even left their jobs are now going to be back into the job market, and the job market's already saturated. Like, it's just a hot mess waiting to happen. Or again, if you're a small business that actually got kind of off the ground running, maybe was finally getting into the green, into the profit margin, this is just so unfortunate in so many ways, and discovery of new music. We'll get into that in the reaction section, but it's just so unfortunate to see a platform go down like this, if it does go down.
TikTok is being unfairly targeted. Why is Congress targeting TikTok specifically? The answer is simple. TikTok challenges the narrative. While other platforms like Meta pose greater security risks, TikTok has some of the best user protection practices in the industry. So why the focus on TikTok? It amplifies voices that some powerful figures don't want heard, like those supporting Palestine or the Black Lives Matter movement, speaking out on issues often ignored or distorted by mainstream media. This isn't about national security. It's about controlling speech and silencing alternative perspectives. The government doesn't like that we're rejecting the propaganda they feed to us by traditional media. The reality is that the government has made false claims.
I also keep seeing people in comment sections referring to TikTok as their source of news. And although I don't really know what my opinion is on that, I will say there's just a lot more accessible information on this platform. Even like Google search, people compare it to. Like, I see that in TikTok comment section. So I'm just being observative to state that observation to you. But it's just so much bigger than what it's being portrayed as and allowed to be, basically like played out as and enacted as, when like there's just so much more depth to the conversation that's like not being had here, especially with the officials approving this bill to go through. So it's very interesting, and from a marketer perspective too, that's why it's dangerous to watch this discourse go on, because this does end a lot of jobs. There are people that are solely TikTok marketers, only work on the marketing of TikTok, work for TikTok, but are based in America. What's going to happen to those roles, right? So there's just so much nuance to it. And I don't know. Stress.
Throughout this entire process, they've told us that TikTok collects precise location information, but it doesn't. They falsely claim that TikTok's US recommendation engine resides in China, and they've even suggested that US user data is being sent to China to train TikTok's algorithm, which it's not. It's a lie. Point 6. TikTok is confident that it will prevail in court. The good news is that TikTok's legal team is confident in their chances, believing that they are likely to prevail if the Supreme Court steps in. If the Supreme Court denies relief, it would cause massive, irreparable injury affecting over 170 million Americans who use the app each month. That's why Congress has enacted an unprecedented restriction on free speech, and why the battle for TikTok's survival isn't just about an app, it's about the future of digital expression in the United States. In the end, while lawmakers continue to hide behind national security rhetoric, the truth is clear. TikTok is a platform that they cannot control, and they're willing to go to extreme lengths to shut it down. But no matter what happens next, one thing is for certain: the truth will eventually come to light.
Now that we've really gotten in depth of kind of what the documents were looking like, what kind of the myths were, let's debunk some of the misinformation that's literally continuously being spammed and spewed at us. This is what's going on. This is the situation. This is what TikTok's at least trying to do about it. Let's hear an update of what's currently happening, of what we know as of the 23rd.
Just on a call with TikTok's lawyers about what comes next now that the Supreme Court has decided to hear TikTok's case, and I want to make sure that you are in the loop. First, as I said yesterday, this is an extremely quick and compressed timeline. In all of my 20 plus years covering the Supreme Court, I don't think I've ever seen them move this quickly in any case this big. But because it is what it is, TikTok's lawyers and the lawyers for the Department of Justice are now working furiously to write and turn in their opening briefs to the Supreme Court by December 27th. Then they will all file their replies to each other on January 3rd. 2 hours of oral arguments are scheduled for January 10th, and the ban on TikTok is still on the books for January 19th. Now, we don't know when the court will issue a final ruling, but something will likely happen before January 19th. See, that's an extremely tight turnaround. But what does that tight turnaround mean for this case? Well, I asked that question of TikTok's lawyers today. He did not really answer the question because nobody really knows. There's a lot of speculation out there about what this can all mean, but here are the facts. The Supreme Court could do one of three things in those 9 days between oral arguments and January 19th. One, they could rule on this entire case and say, yep, we fully agree with TikTok. The ban and the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act is unconstitutional. We strike it down. Case closed. That is the cleanest and absolute best case scenario for TikTok. Two, the court could rule on the entire case in the completely opposite direction. And they could say, yep, we absolutely side with Congress, and yes, Congress has every right to pass a law like this. It is constitutional, and the ban on TikTok takes effect January 19th. Or three, the court could say, after oral arguments, we need more time to reach a decision on this case. So we are going to put a short pause on the ban, called a temporary injunction. The January 19th ban will be on hold. TikTok can remain functioning until we, the justices, issue our ruling. And that ruling could come in a matter of days or weeks or months. Any one of those three things.
And don't quote me, but that's why a lot of people are still coming to the table of just denial. There's just not even a way for TikTok to be banned. As of right now, by paperwork, it is banned on the 19th. So now what? Like, I need people to really lock in, especially again, if you really are making an income from this, you need to already be planning ahead of time. Like, even if this doesn't happen, the ban doesn't go through, you still need to be prepared. Because at this point, there's always going to be a risk of something like this happening with all these platforms, and just so much moving towards the social media, AI, technological era, honestly. So yeah, like, you got to be watching this like a hawk. And so there's no, oh, no, it's definitely 100% not getting banned. No. If anything, we, percentage wise, the unlikely, like, of this not being banned is the lower percentage here. That's the minority here. Currently what we're looking at. That's why it's just stressing me out, because if they even take this and they're like, nope, yeah, it can be banned on the 19th, we don't see anything wrong, then what? What's the plan then, y'all? Because I got a plan. I'm already planning. Y'all see me, I'm pumping these YouTube videos out. Okay, I'm already planning for my clients. There's so much, right? Which we can get into in the video. For that, I also do have a blog post already that's up that basically is already in the rendition and wording of TikTok being banned and what you should do as a marketer, content creator, etc. I'll link that below in the description, but you can also find it on my website, theserenecorner.com. So we need to be thinking and planning, because this stuff is getting real. And the timeline, how she's saying, tight, crucial. Girl, let's get into a little bit more of this video. Again, I'll have her video linked below if you want to watch the full thing, but I think she mainly caught us up on, like, again, what's happening now. We have basically January 10th to get something done in the Supreme Court, and it's still banned on the 19th currently right now, which is literally a few days, less than a month, because it's the 23rd of December right now. Okay. And I was just starting to do good on TikTok. Like, let's move forward. Let's get into, again, some reactions, and let's kind of get more into the reaction realm of how people are feeling about the TikTok ban, the emotions, kind of some tea. Let's get into a little bit of some tea around this ban, because, you know, there's always tea around basically anything. And if there's some tea being spilled, I'm always thirsty. I'm going to find it to sip. Okay, so let me pull up that video.
Infamous for copying competitors, took its corporate sabotage up a notch by spending millions of dollars lobbying Congress to ban TikTok, all while deflecting from its own scandals and data breaches. It turns out that the danger to Americans they warned us about might just be Meta itself. Let's take a look at Meta's dirty little secret that very few people are talking about. So in early 2024, Meta shot out a record-breaking $7.6 million in just 3 months to influence lawmakers. But instead of naming TikTok outright, Meta used China as a cover for its lobbying efforts. The company worked with well-connected lobbyists to push a TikTok ban bill, which forces TikTok's parent company ByteDance to divest from the app or face a total ban in the United States. Now, Google and YouTube also joined the fight, spending millions of dollars to back the legislation. But ByteDance's $2.8 million lobbying budget paled in comparison to the resources of its rivals. And Meta didn't just stop at lobbying. The company hired a PR firm, Targeted Victory, to spread fake rumors about TikTok. Reports of trends like the Slap a Teacher challenge dominated local news, but these trends were fabricated. Ironically, many of the false rumors started on Facebook. Meta's aggressive tactics also included planning op-eds and letters to the editor in newspapers. These pieces disguised as...
Did y'all know this? Hold on, did y'all know? And if you know, spill some more, because I know there's more. And if there's a Reddit thread about it, link that specifically. What? Oh, it is getting nasty in the tech game. I'm telling y'all. I've been listening to some, like, behind the scenes podcast kind of things well too, of just like tech, AI. These people are villains. These people primarily that are men that just sit behind a desk in an office, in a cubicle by themselves, or a basement, clock it, and just become literal textbook fiction villains. And I'm over it. I'm so over it. Because what are we talking about right now? But not TikTok came with the big bag. They have the big bills, the big billions. Okay, but this is some tea. Let's keep going.
Concerned citizen commentary painted TikTok as a threat to children and national security. One Targeted Victory employee wrote in an email that their dream was headlines like "From Dances to Danger, how TikTok has become the most harmful social media space for kids. Meta will stop at nothing to wipe out its main competitor, TikTok, and establish a monopoly." Meta's claims of protecting Americans from TikTok's data practices ring hollow when viewed against the company's own troubled history. This isn't about safeguarding privacy or even national security. It's about corporate greed and eliminating competition. Time and time again, Meta has demonstrated a blatant disregard for user privacy and security. The Cambridge Analytica scandal revealed how the company allowed millions of users' data to be harvested without consent, with that information weaponized to manipulate elections. In 2021, Meta faced another major controversy when data from over 500 million Facebook accounts was leaked online, exposing users to potential fraud and identity theft. The company's failures don't just stop there. Its platforms have long been criticized for interfering in U.S. elections, further undermining its credibility as a protector of public interest. Instead of fixing its own problems, Meta seems more focused on eliminating competition. So what's next? As TikTok fights back in court, accusing the United States government of violating First Amendment rights, Meta continues to roll out copycat features like Reels. But no matter how many features Meta borrows, it can't match TikTok's addictive algorithm.
And that's the real tea. Because they can't copy the algorithm, let's just eradicate the whole platform. And that's literally what's happening. That's why also a lot of marketers, small business owners, I'm going to keep repeating myself, are slightly scrambling at the idea of not having access and being allowed to use TikTok, because it was one of the best marketing platforms of date. Truly, that algorithm is something different. Like, that's the key. And that's also why they want them to divest from it, because they can't replicate it. And what you can't replicate, like, especially as a Black person, when I say this, you're already going to know, like, what I mean. Because we're so used to being the blueprint. And when you're the blueprint, if somebody can't complicate it, like what? if someone can't replicate it, copy it, steal it, steal it, clock that, steal it, they're going to do whatever they can. They'll eradicate it. And again, as a Black person, this is like the experience. This is existing. So I do love the intersectionalities of experiences when things like this happen, when the general public can experience oppression, because that's basically what this is. Welcome to the club. Like, this is basically, again, Ben knew that's why we're able to clock it so quickly. Because it's like, oh, you can't compete with it? You can't replicate it? You can't steal it? You're going to eradicate it. Got it. Got it. Every single time. They've been working off the same cookbook for decades, generations. You know what I mean? So nothing new. Nothing new here. Let's get into some more reactions and some more tea.
There are going to be a lot of people who laugh about the TikTok ban. It's an incredibly bad time to take income away from a lot of people.
Oh, it's more than a lot, and it's more than just influencers and small businesses. I crunched the numbers today. TikTok is actually so large and involved in the economy that when they ban it, every single person in the United States is going to feel its effects. And I know I frequently accidentally end up in the news for a lot of stupid things, but for the love of God, if we could get anything seen by the Supreme Court, let it be what I'm going to say today here. There's about 170 million reoccurring monthly users in the United States here on TikTok alone. And simply referring to just the statistics from the small business portion of that, TikTok contributed $24.2 billion to the United States economy in 2023. 15 billion of that was from advertising and marketing on here alone. And again, simply this portion of it reports 224,000 jobs on here that will be lost, which contributed, again, $5.3 billion in taxes to the US government. This study found 40, but I found some that said up to 50% of these businesses said they wouldn't exist at all without this platform, and the moment it goes away, their business will probably tank. Not to mention the fact that all of these numbers were on par for their growth and expected to double and triple in the coming years. Now, that number itself is concerning alone, but that's simply people who report as a small business. Referring back to that 170 million users here in the US every month, of that large number, based off of the things I've seen in my comment section alone, even from smaller accounts, I'm willing to bet that there are a few million of us that also make money here that aren't reported as small businesses, such as myself. My story is similar to a lot of y'all. You were here when I originally went viral because I quit my horrible job and I was panicked because I didn't know what to do for rent. And then I went viral and realized I could actually rely on this app to make a good $2 to $4K to cover my rent every month. And then beyond that, I was able to use this platform to get my dream.
Especially in a tanking job market for a majority of people out there. Yeah, so many people are currently dependent to pay their bills, their month to month. What that check month to month used to be is coming from this platform. That's what's not clicking for me, with other people being like, oh, it's not going to get banned, or it's not that big of a deal, or, oh, we'll just go back to living real life and things. I don't get why anyone ever depended on the app anyway. I saw comments like that in my comment section about the TikTok ban, where it's like, I don't know why anybody ever depended on an app anyway. Maybe we should go back to like actually living life. Well, actually living life would be like living in reality, and reality is social media and technology is embedded in our lifestyle at this current point. Like, I didn't like, let's just ignore an entire career field. I don't even know what they were saying. I'm like, I don't understand arguments like that. And I'm glad that she's putting this into perspective, because it's not even about the big influencers and big content creators that were making, again, that's their sole job was mainly a TikTok creator. That's one thing. But there's also, again, smaller individuals, not, licensed as a business, that are making, again, they're guaranteed monthly income from this. So it's going to be a horrible sight to see. A horrible sight to see.
My dream job, working and reporting actual news sometimes. I got the opportunity to travel the country and do what I love, all because of right here, and now that's all being stripped away from me again, and I'm really worried like the rest of you all are. Like, I'm also worried and don't know what to do. Cough, cough. Sorry, I ran out of red pens. This is a graph of our current national unemployment rate. Yes, I lost faith a long time ago, so it's no shock to me that they pretend to care about the well-being of people whilst also doing something entirely avoidable that will willingly add a couple million people to this number up here. Because at the end of the day, they just gamble with people in these statistics as if we're the stocks that they also trade behind the scenes.
It's truly deplorable. Truly. let's get into a few more reactions to wrap up this video here. But y'all, this is where we're at. This is the TikTok ban as we know it currently. And it's sad. So sad.
Let me be so clear right now. If this app gets banned, I'm done with all social media. If fucking Mark Zuckerberg thinks that I'm going to march my ass over to Instagram and start using that as much as I use TikTok the moment it gets banned, you're delusional. If TikTok goes away, I go away from all social media. I'm done with all of it. Like, this is a complete detox and returning to my...
The amount of people saying this is a big red flag as well as a marketer. We don't want people to drive away from these spaces that in communities online that we've literally been paid to help our clients build, help creators build, help ourselves build. It's just very alarming. Like, yes, I mean, kind of with everything that I do, I'm more of an organic marketer. So I always advise people to go out and live your real life, and social media should not be a real-time representation of your life, et cetera, right? That's always been a rhetoric. So I'm not against people saying, oh, let's live life. Like, I'm going to just go start living me after this. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is the idea of social media being a space to establish an understanding and a community for a brand, a person, their lifestyle, you know, all of the different things that come with social media marketing, content creation. It's just dangerous for someone that has that, if that's their career field, you know, like inevitably, let's say in any career field, if sports suddenly started going out of style or were being banned left and right, athletes everywhere would be a little bit concerned. You know what I mean? So same thing. That language like this is just a little bit scary because, again, TikTok ban goes down. Is the reach on all of your platforms going to go down? Because how a lot of people are saying, and like this creator in this video was saying, they're not going to be using anything. They're going to delete it all. They're going to go live life in the real world outside. Okay, that means in-person marketing, on-site marketing, like what radio, broadcasting, that now we're going to start reaching out to other platforms and mediums and channels to market again. Because people are not going to be on social media, or social media platforms left and right are getting banned. But yeah, so I get so scared when I see things like this. I agree with it though. Like, I'm completely empathizing where it's like, I feel this, but I'm scared.
Myself, I'm working on my mental health. Like, TikTok being banned, the only positive that I can think of that could possibly come from that is that I will finally not be so disgustingly addicted to this fucking phone that I'm holding in my hand right now. Instagram sucks. Facebook absolutely sucks. Like, everybody knows this, okay? Don't even get me started on X. I don't know if Elon is involved in all this shit either, but like, I don't use X now, and I have no intention of ever using it ever, okay? And this is the thing that's so funny to me is these apps, they know what they're doing. Mark Zuckerberg especially. He knows that, okay, TikTok gets banned and everybody's just going to start using Instagram again. Are we? This is what I mean. You guys are so out of touch. You don't even understand who we are as consumers. There is nothing about Instagram that compares to TikTok at all. Y'all have tried it with the Reels and everything. I don't give a fuck. It's not even the Reels. I make money on this app. This is a secondary source of income for me. The things that TikTok offers its consumers, and especially its creators, it goes so far beyond what Instagram, Facebook, X, or any other fucking app that they're talking about now could ever possibly offer. Y'all don't have the algorithm. Your algorithms suck. They absolutely suck. And you also are not willing to dish up good amounts of money to pay your creators. So I am done. The moment that TikTok is banned is the moment that Instagram leaves my phone, okay? And X and Facebook are already not in my phone. And they never, ever will be again. Because here's the thing. The only reason that Instagram gets any sort of attention from me whatsoever is because of TikTok. It's because of this residual need that I have for so much fucking dopamine that when I'm not on TikTok, I need to then go check Instagram because I'm just so addicted to the dopamine that these apps give me. But it ain't the same. It's not the same. The moment that TikTok goes away, this brain is going to start healing, baby. And I'm going to have absolutely no desire to use any other fucking app like Instagram, let alone X or Facebook. You guys have to be so delusional. So delusional, Mark Zuckerberg.
I am genuinely pissed that TikTok is going to be deleted. I feel like everyone is completely ignoring the cultural significance of this app. Hundreds of millions of people have been posting on this app every single day for the last couple of years. That is culture. That is significant. That is important. That is worthy of being preserved. And I'm tired of people pretending like it's not. There has never been an app that has kept their finger on the pulse of cultural changes like this app, whether it be music, movies, television, fashion, whatever. All of that was documented in this app, and that is important. You can't just delete TikTok And if you do, for the love of God, can you at least archive it? Because if you don't, that's like burning every single book that was printed from the year 2019 until right now. You're doing the digital equivalent of burning the Library of Alexandria again. It's such a waste, and it is.
That is such a good point. There is so many like historical moments. Like I literally have to say historical moments that started and were discovered on TikTok, or someone first posted it on TikTok. Literally, think about it. Think about it. The Alabama brawl, I had to go there. Like, are we kidding? We wouldn't, that would not be a historical holiday without TikTok. We wouldn't even have known that occurred. There's actually so many things like that. These trucks, they're just zooming by. Okay. But yeah, I didn't even think about that, but there's so much historical data embedded in TikTok. It's actually crazy. So what are they going to do with all that? Because we need that. That guy makes a good point. We need that.
When it comes to this TikTok ban, what I'm worried about is my bookmarks, my saved videos. Do you know how many bookmarks I have for different countries, different cities?
I'm talking full itineraries, full recipes, full resources, collateral. I have so much. That's why I've been working double time, almost a part-time job at this point, just pulling things from TikTok, which I should have already been doing, I guess. So it's like lesson learned on me, which is, again, practice what you preach. And I've been pulling these things and these information from TikTok, saving these videos. I have an entire like huge, like, what is it called? Flash drive? It's not called a flash drive. Hard drive. Junk drive? Hard drive? Overdrive? Anywho, you know what I'm trying to say. I have one of those with like a bunch of terabytes on it, and I basically transfer everything over to there for this exact reason. But I use TikTok for so much. What?
I plan my trips through TikTok. I literally today, tried to plan a trip without referring to TikTok. Baby, it was a struggle. Google, what? TripAdvisor, what? Oh my gosh.
So true. So true. Me and my fiance just recently planned our next vacation for next year through TikTok. Found a nice resort, a nice deal. The day that we were supposed to book it, like people told us there was going to be a discount on a certain day through TikTok. Because I learned about the Travel Tuesday thing through TikTok. What are we talking about? Do you know how many people use TikTok? Like, I even also, and I know a lot of marketers can relate to this as well, I have accounts trained for certain things. One that's like trained to show me viral topic, conversations, trends, sounds. One that's just mainly for like posting. One dedicated to like food, dedicated to travel, different niches. Like, I need us to really be serious. So also that's going to make my research efforts a lot more difficult if TikTok were to actually get banned.
Since this app might be getting canceled, I wanted to air some shit out because I'm not sure if this is an industry-wide issue or if this is something only people like me are experiencing, okay? I did work for a brand in June. I'm going to give you a very specific timeline. The content was posted in June. It's sponsored content. They contracted me to promote a product. I promoted the product. It was invoiced. Typically, invoices are due within 30 or 60 days, okay? That's just how it's done in our industry. I know you're wondering, get your payment up front or at least get half. It doesn't work that way. I've been doing content for 6 years. I've never been paid up front, okay? And I'm at a good agency. I've had good managers. It just doesn't happen, okay? Happens for some people. It doesn't happen typically. Net 30, net 60. My own was net 60. I posted the content in June. The payment is due in August. Now, typically, I give a couple weeks as a buffer because I'm like, things happen. There's red tape. There's accounting. There's paperwork. Like, things happen, you know. However, end of August rolls around. Still no word on the payment. And I thought, that's strange. I reached out to my manager. They reach out to the people. Still nothing. October comes around. I get paid for half of the project. And I thought, that is very unusual. Because as far as I'm concerned, we don't afterpay payments. We don't do pay in full. Like, why would you pay me half of the payment? It was frustrating, but I said, you know what, it's fine, like, things happen. Maybe they just didn't have the budget. I found that hard to believe, but maybe they didn't. Now it is December. As far as I know, I'm about to get paid for work I did in 2024 in 2025. What has made me very frustrated? though, is that I observed the other content creators that also posted content around this time, because obviously like they use multiple people and most of them have higher rates than me. I don't have the highest rate. I have, I think, a good rate, but there's people that have higher rates than me, 2-3 times my rate. And as far as I can see, they got paid. So I'm wondering, like, is this an issue of you didn't have any money, like you ran out of budget because you paid them, people with higher rates than me? Or is this you didn't have money for Fumi? Now, I am at an agency and I do have a manager, and I have brought up the fact that, hey, I've noticed I still haven't been paid from this project. But the last few weeks has shown me a very, very concerning trend of brands not prioritizing paying their Black creators on time, when it's not even an issue of running out of money. Like, we know that there are people you work with that have far higher rates that I'm assuming get paid on time. You're cutting 6-figure checks for some people. You're cutting $50,000 checks for some people. My rate's not anywhere near that. And yet, I'm still waiting 6 months later to get paid. Since this app might be getting canceled, I wanted to air some.
I really wanted to add this video in because people are starting to just air their truths out in case TikTok does get banned. And that was this creator, for example. And this also ties into the last video that I just made with influencer culture shifting. This is just another clear example of, again, because I made a point in that video, and I hope that point lands clearly, and I'll bring it up here as well too, especially as someone, if you're a POC, if you're a minority group to any regard, the TikTok ban also affects you crucially. It's already affecting us, and it's not even banned yet. For example, this creator here is already experiencing turmoil on getting paid, already doesn't even charge the highest rates that she could charge, because especially too as a dark-skinned Black woman, of course you can't charge the same rates as the Annie and the Beth Ann and the, you know, the others, right? Which I hate that it's like that, but she's, again, literally saying that that's the case. Even the net 30, net 60 like time frame for payment, I find something that I would just personally be uncomfortable with. If I was a content creator specifically, I would need immediate payment as a positive some kind, like that kind of lingo. But again, she does work with an agency or has management that handles that communication with her. And you never know if her management also takes a percentage. So she could be, again, making a set rate that's still not that 50,000 per post or 100K like Alex Earl can do and whatnot. But she's also having to divide that between her team as well. So to be waiting multiple months on a payment that's already going to have to be divided in multiple different ways is just so ridiculous. And that's why creators like this need to diversify, need to have platforms like TikTok to be able to market themselves, get more audience members, more viewership, so then they can also create revenue for their creator rewards program, because things like this happen with like brand deals or other streams of income for them. Hot mess. But let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. Overall, that's what we know about TikTok right now. We won't have a final decision or really kind of any information up until literally crunch time. Like there's days, hours left. I already know they're going to keep us on the edge of our seats until the end of this ride. But nonetheless, we're going to stay vigilant, stay aware. And at this current moment, regardless, you need to be saving your content from TikTok, saving the things that you find valuable on there, just regardless of if it's banned or not. You don't have to have the anxiety like this again of losing, you know, so much contact to like information, resources, creators, and people that you enjoyed watching. And make sure that you're finding other creators on other platforms like YouTube. If you don't want to use Instagram and Facebook, completely understand that. I personally don't like the platforms either, but I do work with them because obviously I have clients that are working on those platforms. So just finding and supporting your favorite influencers and creators on other spaces is going to be crucial during this time. And yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out, girl. Keep an eye out, but it has me stressed, as it has many stressed. So we'll be on the edge of our seats. If you enjoyed this video and this quick little breakdown, as well as catching up on some reactions, leave a comment down below and tell me how you're feeling about the TikTok ban. What are your thoughts? What's tea? Did anything surprise you in this video? How do you feel about the ban going through? Do you make an income from TikTok? Are you kind of dependent on it? I would love to know. Let's chat in the comments, but I will see you guys in the next video.